Looking at the current roster in Project L, some characters seem to take inspiration from other fighting game characters, like Ari being similar to Storm, and Yasuo taking some moves from our favorite power-hungry demon from Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
I need more power!
And funny enough, I stumbled across a game called DNF Duel, where some of the characters have a strong resemblance to their league counterparts. So without further ado, here's some champions that we already know how they're going to play in Project L. So the first one on this list is Lost Warrior. This character is just straight up unapologetically Kassadin. Like, he has all the teleports, basically all the rift walks and all that stuff that Kassadin can do. He just does that, but, you know, in a fighting game. Like, it's like the comparison is almost unparalleled. So if Kassadin at some point makes it into Project L, I imagine that he would play almost identical, if not exactly like this character. Like, it's crazy how similar the characters are. The next one on the list, I'm not gonna waste too much time. Like, this one's kind of a no-brainer. Grappler is just straight up Sett. Yeah, there's not much to really talk about here. It's just I go in, I grab, I hit you, I kick, and I slam. Like, this is pretty much it. Probably won't be exactly like this, but for the most part, Sett literally just grabs and throws you, and then his super is just a grab and a throw. Like, it's this is just how I imagine Sett would play. The next character I'm gonna make a comparison to is Crusader. And I know with this one it's a bit trickier because you can probably compare him to a lot of characters, or probably pretty hard at first glance. You might be like, oh, he's got a big hammer, so he'd be Poppy, or you'd possibly be like, I don't know, Trundle, because he could summon a wall, that could be a pillar. I don't know, depending on where your mind goes. But me, I think if they add this character to Project L, he would most likely be Yorick, funny enough, because Yorick, on the other hand, which I think the character doesn't get enough love, and he kind of got goddamn put to the wayside on his own event with the Rune King. We're not going to talk about that though, because everybody talks about it. He's basically the opposite of Yorick, but they have the same moves. Yorick can summon a wall. Instead of having a big hammer, he's got a big shovel, and he can throw things as well. I mean, Yorick's kind of just like a big hulking juggernaut guy, but instead of doing holy things, he's unholy. Obviously, he wouldn't be doing all these raids. It'd probably be like a bunch of like demonic looking stuff, but I feel like if they add Yorick to Project L, he would most likely play like Crusader or DNF Duel. That's just me though. But let me know in the comments what you think. Alright, the next one is, again, another no-brainer, just like Sett. Enchantress. Unapologetically just Annie. It's basically just Annie, but not Annie. Like, it's a little girl with a bear and supernatural powers. That's literally Annie. And I mean, depending on if they have small character, well, I feel like they will, because every fighting game nowadays has some kind of small or big character in the game. I'm pretty sure small characters will be in. They're not going to be too small, but Annie, I feel like Annie would be in the game. But yeah, nah. Enchantress is just Annie. So if Annie makes it in, I feel like you would pretty much play just like this character, almost down to the T. Alright, the next DNF character with a league counterpart is Swiftmaster. And just off all the air stuff alone, and based on, I don't know how many support characters are going to be in Project L, hopefully they make some of the support characters cool, and not all the ones that I guess normally can't fight in League of Legends actually do something in Project L. But I think Swiftmaster shares a very similar skill list to Janna, without all the melee stuff, obviously. But yeah, I think if they added Janna at some point to Project L, I feel like her playstyle would be a good reference to Swiftmaster, or Swiftmaster would be a good reference for Janna in Project L, because of just all the typhoons and stuff. And Janna and lore is basically like a kind of like wind spirit or something like that in Zon that kind of cleanses the air and all that stuff. So that'd be kind of cool. And her whole thing is that she just makes tornadoes, and she can push and pull the wind current and stuff, and that's kind of what Swiftmaster does, and that's similar to what he does in the game anyway. So I feel like if they made a support character look a lot cooler than they do in their actual game, I feel like Janna would 100% be that character. And plus, nobody would expect Janna to be doing like cool storm stuff. So yeah, I would say if Janna makes it in the Project L, she would definitely be referenced off of Swiftmaster, if anything. Okay, the next character, Vanguard. Yeah, he's just Xin Zhao, and I mean, Xin Zhao will also be pretty cool for Project L. If he's not base roster, probably somewhere down the line, because he's just a fighter, and Vanguard's got a long Naginata, Xin Zhao's got a long Naginata or spear. Have very similar movements in game, where Xin Zhao's whole thing is they're like, dash in, swing, Vanguard dash. You get the comparison. All right, next one. Okay, I'm gonna be going through these last few pretty quick. So Ranger, he's pretty much just gonna be Lucian, or I would imagine how Lucian would play in Project L. You know, quick zippy gunslinger, basically, you know, dash in and out, shoot, do flippy tricks and all that stuff. It kind of just seems like it. Probably not 1-to-1, but for the most part, I imagine if Lucian's going to be in Project L, he's going to be a very mobile range, you know, mid-range zoner type of character who can kind of get in and out and have mobility, kind of what I imagine there. Yeah, Ghostblade is just straight up Yone. If Yasuo is Virgil, Yone is basically going to be just Virgil with Devil Trigger activated 24/7, and that's kind of what Ghostblade is. He's just Virgil Devil Trigger. So I can imagine that this is how Yone would play. Just, you know, he can shoot like little after image after himself, have it come after you and slash you up, while he also slashes you up, and you know he's a lot cooler doing it. I imagine also safer, but yeah, Ghostblade is just Yone. And the last character I'm going to go over is Berserker. With this one, I couldn't really tell between the two, who I think this character would be based off of. But it was a toss-up between being a reference of Tryndamere or this character being a reference for Aatrox. The only reason it's a toss-up because I think Aatrox is like 30 feet tall. And I don't know how they are with the size comparison of it. I mean, if they do put him in, that'd be awesome. I probably would prefer Aatrox over Tryndamere, to be honest. I mean, Tryndamere is kind of cool looking too, but I guess let me know in the comments down below what do you think Berserker would be based off of more, or who would have a benefit to his playstyle more? Would it be Tryndamere or Aatrox? Let me know in the comments down below. And that is going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, drop a like on the video. And let me know in the comment section if there's any other characters that you would want to see a reference, or who you think they would play, or how you think they would already play in Project L based on other games. I already had the idea to try to compare some other champions to Marvel vs. Capcom characters, since, you know, Yasuo is based on Virgil and Ari kind of takes some stuff from Storm. So I figured, you know, I could probably do it with other champions too. I mean, we don't know when Project L is coming out, and there's so many champions that can be in Project L. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care.